Good morning, everyone. Today I wanted to talk to you about a magical country, a country that I appreciate very much. Did any one of you ever watch The Lord of the Rings? What besides the magic and the actions caught your attention? For me, it was the landscape. So I had to investigate and research about where that movie was filmed. And it was in New Zealand. And so I started researching and doing a lot of work on it. And today I want to share a lot of this knowledge with you. I'm going to go through a very simple agenda. New Zealand, where is it? What type of government? What economy? What is the current business climate between Colombia and New Zealand? Protocols? Intersection in business between both countries. I want to share with you a very interesting business proposal, have some conclusions, and I'll have some time at the end for questions and answers. All right, let's get going. First of all, where is New Zealand? Well, for those of you who don't know, New Zealand is in the oceanic continent. It is a small island, and Australia is its closest neighbor. The distance between Bogota and Auckland, which is the most populated center, is about 12,000 kilometers. Travel time is about 22-hour flight, and currently New Zealand is in the future. Yeah, believe it, it's an 18-hour difference. Now, for New Zealanders, the environment is prime and most important. A third of the country is forest. It has signed almost every treaty of environmental protection. It has water treaties also. And right now, they have a new promise that they make every tourist that comes to New Zealand sign. It's called the Tiaki Promise. This promise makes you, as a tourist, swear to take care of the land and all of the water and all of the environment, because this is sacred for them. New Zealand's government is a parliamentary government based on the English model. It's unicameral, and its prime minister is Jacinda Ardern. She is the first woman prime minister in New Zealand, and she's actually the second woman to give birth while in term. There is a judicial system that is handled via Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, and tribunals. It's a very standard system for the English model, and it is prime and it has been working forever. The economy of New Zealand. New Zealand is ranked 16th in human development, third in economic freedom. What that means is it's the third country that is the easiest to make a company. The New Zealand dollar is about 2,000 pesos in trade. They currently have trade in many sectors, and historically, their main was wool. Just like Colombia, it was coffee. Current trade right now is agricultural. Dairy is number one product that they export. They also have wood, services, and wine. Some of the business protocols for New Zealanders are Mr., Mrs., or Ms., plus the surname should always be used, and you must wait for them to give you the permission to use the first name. Business cards are optional. Clothing for women is dress or trousers, and nothing too revealing. For men, suits, shirts with collars, and if you get an invite as casual, no jacket is required. All men are expected to be clean-shaven and well-kept. Arrive early. On time is late. Always shake hands, and very importantly, while doing business with New Zealanders, be direct and bring concrete numbers. Negotiation is available, but it's not a big factor. The business climate of New Zealand with Colombia is in a great point. Right now, they are looking to sign a TLC, where the agricultural sector and the dairy sector are very important. They are already signers of the Pacific Alliance, which Colombia wants to enter. And New Zealand is a country that allows foreign investment. When you create a business in New Zealand or deal with New Zealanders, you must understand that transparency is a must. They don't have corruption, and they are very unimpressed by any country that tries to do corrupt systems with them. They have a very clear tax system, and in the beginning of 2018, he opened an embassy in Bogota to facilitate business throughout the whole countries. New Zealand-Colombia business intersection. Well, as you guys know, as I just mentioned, there are many sectors that we share in common. The biggest right now that we do is the student exchanges. Colombia has triplicated the number of foreign exchange students into New Zealand. Tourism is another great factor. Since President Duque's election, he has called tourism a non-smoke factory, basically the orange sector, as he calls it. New Zealand is an expert in this sector. Dairy farms, as I mentioned, is New Zealand's number one expert, and Colombia is in the dire need of technifying its dairy sector. Environmental businesses. This is a very interesting sector for us because there are very different aspects of our environment that we could learn from New Zealand. Fishing is also an important sector in New Zealand. As I mentioned in the beginning, it is a small island in the middle of the Pacific. So they have a lot of water, and so do we. So fishing is another common sector. Renewable energy is also huge. New Zealand has been an exporter of oil, but 40% of all of its energy is produced renewable, and that is something that we are in a very high demand because we suffer a lot of consequences when the environment changes on us. And finally, the technology services. As I mentioned, New Zealand is in a great growth, and its technology sector has incredibly grown. It is growing faster right now than even the Chinese and the American sectors. So they are in a boom. And that's where my business proposal comes in. Exponential growth in that sector is a problem actually for New Zealand. Why? Because they are an island. That means they have a limited amount of the most important resource in the technology sector, which is smart people. They have about 4.5 million people, and to immigrate into New Zealand, it's a very difficult and complicated process. So for us and Colombia, well-trained bilingual companies can become offshore development shops, meaning we could become their development. Distance is not an issue, as you might think that would be a problem, but the internet has made the world a lot smaller. Our biggest advantage is we have low-cost labor, plus great computer science schools. So those advantages must be maxified. I do think that if we demand and make the effort to do business with the New Zealand sector, we will be able to come with great business back home. In conclusion, New Zealanders value honesty above business, and the ease of business with them will allow for great partnerships. Understanding their culture is a great tool to approach other people and establish great relations, either business or personal. New Zealand and Colombia are a good match for business. The main reason for that is we share many things in common, and we are both small countries that are looking to progress and become bigger. We must focus on what's important for both sides. We must understand that they do not like corruption, but we also must understand that we have many things good to offer. And last and most importantly, our tech sector can experience a great growth if we can attach ourselves to the current previous momentum. Thank you, people. And if you have any questions, go ahead. If not, you can just send me an email at jrendon49401@universidad.edu.co. Thank you and have a great day.